Baron Productions presents Zorro, The Curse of Capistrano by Johnston McCulley. Part 5, Swift Punishment. Sergeant Gonzalez had informed Diego of Ramon's plan to destroy the Pulido family. Now, terrified for Isabella, the young Don went early the next morning to his family's main estate, Friar Felipe at his side.
Father? Father!
Perhaps he's got back indoors, Don Diego.
At this hour? Don't you believe it? He'll be out and about. Come on, we'll try the kitchen gardens.
Why all this urgency, senor?
Because the Pulidos are in serious danger. Like you, they found themselves on the wrong side of Captain Ramon, and if we don't do something to help them...
Diego, my son!
Father!
Oh, pardon the muddy hands. You know I always like to pull the first vegetables of the summer in person.
Not a problem, Father. I needed to change my coat anyway. A good crop, I trust?
Not bad at all. So, what brings you here?
Well,
News of your impending marriage, no doubt. Friar, you must fetch some of your best wine so that we can toast my son's success.
Very good, senor.
Now, just a minute, Father.
Oh, I know you always disapprove of drinking so early. But this is a special occasion, son. We have to celebrate properly.
Yes, but...
You know I've always admired Don Carlos and his family. The way they stand up for a cause, not because of its profits, but because it is good. We can all learn something there, my boy. How is the Don, by the way? You have seen much of him lately.
He is well, Father, but...
And the fair Doña Catalina?
Well, too, but...
Well, what about your beautiful bride-to-be?
Sir...
I tell you, if I were a young man again, no offence to your dearly departed mother, but I should be most tempted to challenge you for the affections of such a beauty as the lovely Isabella.
Father...
I know your old father says too much as always. But tell me, son, how like you the señorita?
Sir, the señorita is a true picture of loveliness, but I fear she and her parents may not be safe for very long.
Whatever do you mean?
Señor Zorro has recently been seen at Don Carlos' estate, where he challenged and defeated Captain Ramon.
Ah, yes, I heard about that.
Well, the captain sees the Pulido family as collaborators with this bandit, and has written about it to the governor. I was hoping you might use your influence with Montesero and...
My dear boy, the best way we could exonerate the Pulidos is by cementing your marriage to Isabella as soon as possible.
Ah.
Montesero would not dare touch her or her parents if they joined our noble family. So, tell me, how stand things between you and she?
Well, there we have a small problem, I fear, Father.
Oh?
It would appear that for all my efforts, the marriage cannot take place. Señorita Isabella will none of me.
What? How is this? Would she refuse to wed with a Vega? Refuse to become allied with the most powerful family in the country?
She made it clear, Father, that I am not the sort of man for her. She is prone to foolishness, I believe. She would have me play a guitar under her window, write poetry to her, hold her hands when her parents are not looking, and all that silliness.
By all the saints!
I know, and...
Are you a Vega? Would not any man want a chance like that? Would not any caballero delight to serenade his love on a moonlit night? These little things you term silly are the very essence of love. I am not surprised the señorita was displeased with you.
But surely such things are hardly necessary.
Are you telling me that you went to the señorita in a cold-blooded, lacklustre manner and suggest that you wed and have done with it? Had you the idea that you could act like you were purchasing livestock or a new estate? Santa Maria, get life into you, man!
But
by the saints, I wish you had half the spirit of Señor Zorro. You are a Vega, the best catch in the country. Be but half the man that Zorro is in your deeds, and any woman is yours. I tell you what, I would rather have you in his place, running the risk of death or imprisonment on a daily basis, than to have you a lifeless dreamer of dreams that amount to nothing.
Father, I have been a dutiful son.
A dutiful son! Yes, indeed you have. But in truth, I would have had you be a little wild. It would have been more natural. Even if you'd had a few escapades. I could have overlooked a few escapades, but this lifelessness, I'll tell you, here and now, it will not do. So, rouse yourself, young sir. go back to Isabella, and this time you play the game and treat her as a young man should. And if you don't, well, when I die, I might just leave my wealth to the church.
I'll go and see her at once, Father.
Meanwhile, at Diego's own house, word of Ramon's visit had reached Don Carlos.
My daughter, threatened and affronted by that despotic piece of scum who calls himself captain. When I catch up with him, I shall see him answer for this.
Please, Father, put that sword away.
You can't challenge Captain Ramon, darling.
Don't you dare tell me I cannot protect my own child, Cutter. I would challenge the entire garrison for you or her.
Yes, that's very romantic, dear. But you are forgetting one rather important thing.
And what would that be?
Ramon's a professional soldier. He'd run you through in 2 passes. I mean, no offence, darling, but I'd rather not be left a weeping widow, if I can avoid it.
Oh, I suppose you're right.
Anyhow, Zorro easily sent him off. We won't have to put up with Ramon again while we're here in town.
Oh, if I were 10 years younger.
I know, darling. I know.
I'd slash the epaulets right off his shoulders. Captain, indeed. I just wish there were a way to...
Wait a moment. What's that?
What?
That music. I can definitely hear a guitar playing.
It's coming from the garden.
Love is pure.
Diego!
Ha! It seems the fellow took my advice. He's trying a little wooing after all.
Oh no.
Oh, come on, Isabella. Does the man not have a wonderful voice?
I suppose so.
Is he not full of passion, romantic longing? Is he not the greatest match a young woman could possibly wish for?
All right, dear. I think we get the picture.
Come, Carlos. Let us leave our daughter to enjoy this wonderful display of adoration.
Good afternoon, Senorita.
Senor Diego, that was...
I know my voice is not what it should be, and my guitar playing is far from adequate, but this was only my first time. I shall improve with practice.
No, it was lovely.
You really mean that?
I do. Honestly, I didn't think you had that in you, senor.
Neither did I, to be quite honest.
This makes what I have to tell you all the harder.
Tell me what, Senorita?
Diego, you are a caballero, a gentleman. And you have a lovely voice and a beautiful home, and there are many women who would be honoured to be your wife.
But not you, Isabella?
Yes, of course, I would be honoured, but... Senor, I cannot help it if my heart does not speak. Would you wish for a wife who did not love you? Think of the long years you would have to spend together with no love to make them endurable.
You do not think that you could ever come to love me, Senorita?
May I be completely honest? Can I trust you?
Of course. As a caballero, I give my word.
Senor, there is one great reason why I cannot love you.
You have some other man in your heart.
I do.
I see.
You would not want me for a wife in such a case. You could never...
Isabella, I understand. I have no hard feelings. I thank you for telling me now, before I blistered my hands attempting to pluck those infernal guitar strings again.
Thank you, Don Diego.
But tell me, the man is worthy, yes?
I feel sure that he is.
Well, that is all I needed to hear. It only remains for me to congratulate you, and if things should go amiss and you need a friend, command me, Senorita.
Thank you. You have no idea how much that means to me. Actually, Diego, there is something else I ought to tell you, and I don't think you're going to like it.
That's 3 escapes, Gonzales. You know, I'm starting to wonder whether you don't secretly want this bandit to make fools of us all.
I apologize, my captain. I've said I'll catch him, and I shall.
Indeed. And how will you manage that, Sergeant?
Well, sir,
You're an incompetent man. You have him cornered over and over, and he slips through your grasp. And now he's gone to ground who knows where.
Not interrupting, am I?
Don Diego!
Is there something you want, Senor Vega? I'm rather busy.
Actually, there is, Captain. Otherwise, I would not visit your office in person. Sergeant, would you mind giving us the room, please?
Yes, of course, Don Diego.
So, Captain, I understand the night before last there was an incident at my house.
I don't know what you've been told, Senor. I entered your house seeking news of the highwayman Zorro.
Were you drunk, Senor?
I beg your pardon.
Because I can think of no other reason you could possibly assume that entering my property would yield you anything regarding that masked bandit, or that you should then think it appropriate to force yourself upon a young lady who has clearly expressed no desire to have anything to do with you.
Coming from the gentleman she has professed to be lifeless and uninteresting, that means absolutely nothing.
At least I am still a gentleman, Senor.
Careful, Don Diego. That's very close to fighting talk. I wouldn't claim to like you, but your blood on my hands would be a nuisance, I admit. Far more so than that of your friend Don Carlos, once I've finished with him.
By all the saints, what a speech! You have made my poor head ring with it. I find it appalling that we have such an uncaring creature as you for a battery commander.
Uncaring? Not at all. My actions are all for the betterment of Los Angeles, I think you'll find.
For the governor and his ilk, perhaps, but not for the people. And does the governor not serve the people?
In fact, Don Diego, it is the people who serve the Crown and its representatives, of which I am one.
Your Excellency.
Don Raphael, I did not realize you were in Los Angeles.
Indeed, I thought the recent business in this area deserved my personal attention. I don't believe you know my new district attorney, Santiago Valesca.
Good afternoon, Don Diego.
A pleasure, senor. You gentlemen will join me for dinner this evening, of course.
Another time, perhaps. Don Julio has kindly offered me his hospitality. Now, if you'll forgive me, I must discuss business with the captain here.
Of course. Another time then, Raphael.
Strange. I always heard Vega was a rather ineffectual fellow. What made him stand up to you, Captain?
Oh, just a little disagreement concerning the daughter of Don Carlos. Though I do suspect something darker may be at the heart of it.
Oh, yes?
The night I sent my courier to you, my lord, I had previously paid a call to Don Diego's townhouse, where I was set upon unjustly by the masked bandit. This afternoon he bursts in here to upbraid me for my unannounced visit, yet he seems entirely unperturbed by Zorro's appearance in his home.
Odd. Unless, of course, his is the wealthy family your letter referred to.
I have no desire to slander an esteemed Don without proof.
It's true, the Vegas are powerful. They have never been my warm friends, but they have not yet raised their hand to me.
But when you add the fact that Don Carlos and his family were staying with Don Diego at the time of Zorro's appearance there...
And you say that Don Diego has an interest in Don Carlos's daughter?
Indeed. And even she seems to be helping Zorro's cause.
Go on.
She boasted to me of what she called his courage. She sneered at the soldiers. There is no doubt that the entire Pulido family are protecting this rogue, and with the Vegas cemented in their alliance.
There is no limit to the chaos they could cause.
Quite so. I would have taken steps, but I thought it best to inform you first and await your decision.
We cannot move against the Vegas without more proof, Your Excellency. Their influence and power here in the south is too great.
I'm sorry to say you're right, Valesca.
The Pulidos, however, well, no matter how good a man's blood may be, or whatever his rank, he cannot commit treason without suffering the consequences.
Indeed. How many of your men are at the garrison, Captain?
The main part of my regiment is currently away hunting Zorro, sir, but I have half a dozen men or so at your disposal.
Good. They can join my escort and bring Don Carlos to heel. Valesca, I assume you want the honours?
With pleasure, my lord.
Later, back at the Pulido estate...
Of course, if he was any real caballero, he'd have passed his sword through the brute and be done with it. But
now, dear, I think it was very gallant of Don Diego to speak with Ramon like that. The most gallant thing I've seen him do, in fact.
You may have a point there.
Don Carlos, senor.
What's the matter, Manuel?
There's a lawyer here, sir, with soldiers.
Out of my way, you stupid boy.
Now look here, whoever you are, I don't appreciate you and your men marching all over my lawns and insulting my servants like...
Don Carlos, Dona Catalina, in the name of the Lord Governor Montesero, I place you both under arrest.
Zorro, The Curse of Capistrano featured the voices of Daniel Wilmot as Diego, Nell Frampton as Isabella, Paul Toy as Captain Ramon, Stephen Mawson as Don Carlos and Friar Felipe, Janice Barnes-Newton as Dona Catalina, Adrian Roberts as Governor Montesero, Dave Parkinson as Don Alejandro, Lee Gemmell as Sergeant Gonzalez, Ali Sherman as Manuel, Matt Patterson as the lawyer Valeska, and Natalie Rowe as the narrator. The music was written and performed by Jose Ardim and edited by Daniel Wilmot. The Curse of Capistrano was adapted to radio by Daniel Wilmot, based on the novel by Johnston McCulley, and produced by Baron Productions.